Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to today's virtual marathon concert fundraising broadcast. I'm Tara Mead, the Vice President of the Upper Midwest Flute Association. The Marathon Flute Concert began in the spring of 2015 to raise money for UMFA's scholarship program. In the next 2 hours, we will feature over 35 Midwest flutists. All of the performers you will hear from today have made a donation to the scholarship fund. In order to reach our goal of $2,020, we are looking to collect $300 of donations in the next hour. If you would like to make a difference for a flute student in the Upper Midwest, please visit umfaflutes.org to make a donation. I'm pleased to welcome our first host, Bethany Ganella. Bethany teaches at the University of St. Thomas and maintains a private teaching studio as well. During non-pandemic times, she performs regularly with the South Dakota Symphony and the Keown Quintet, and she often plays as an extra with the Minnesota Opera. Bethany helped to co-found UMFA's scholarship program with Andrea Myers, and they organized the first few marathon flute concerts to fund the scholarship program. Good afternoon, Bethany.
Hello. Thank you all for joining us today. And again, welcome to the 2020 Marathon Flute Concert. This usually takes place in the Mall of America, and it's always fun to see people walking by. They see the giant flutes because we usually have the contrabass and a bass and an alto and the piccolo. And it's always fun too, that way to spread the word so that people who don't know about this scholarship program might find out, and students who could never have benefited before can have the opportunity to reach music education. And I've been really grateful to see about how this year, even though we have limitations because of the pandemic, this community is still coming together to help support the scholarship fund. I've heard a lot of really compelling stories about what a difference this program has made in people's lives. So thank you all of you performers, all of the donors, anyone who's watching right now and spreading the word. Thank you for helping us support this really wonderful program. So first up, we have some beautiful arrangements of Christmas duets that are performed by Lisa Kingsley and Laura Olson.
Hello, I'm Lisa Kingsley from Apple Valley.
And I'm Laura Olson from Burnsville, and we're going to play a trio of Christmas songs for you. The first one is I er så glad ved julekveld, and that is Norwegian Christmas carol, which means I am so glad each Christmas Eve.
O come, Emmanuel. And for our last selection, we would like to play Fum Fum Fum, which is a traditional Catalonia carol.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Hello again. If you just joined us, welcome to the 6th annual Upper Midwest Flute Association Marathon Flute Concert. This usually takes place at Mall of America, but we are doing a pandemic-safe version this year. It's actually kind of cool because we have a much larger geographical reach this year because of that. So please share this live stream and also information about the program if you know any flute students who would benefit from it, or if you know anyone who would be willing to contribute. Every little bit makes a difference. This program helps to support flute lessons in covering the cost of private lessons, master classes, summer music camps, and also instrument rentals. And students can apply of any age and level, which is really special. A lot of scholarship programs require an audition, which really means you have to be privileged enough to have afforded flute lessons for long enough to be competitive. And I think this program is really special because anyone can apply as long as they show dedication to their studies and financial need. I've heard a lot of really compelling stories about what a difference this program has made in the lives of students. One student who has received a scholarship wrote, "I'm very appreciative and thankful to the UMFA scholarship and kind donors. By this way, you are sparking my inspiration and passion about flute music. You let me know I am important, valued, and respected. You help me make my dream become true. Your help encourages me to learn and promote my success. Many thanks again." So help more students like that. I would love for us, we're very close to our goal of raising $2020. I think it would be amazing if we just doubled our goal today and supported twice as many students. So please consider donating, share the word, and let's hear another lovely flute performance. Next up, we have Micah Bozak playing Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Hello, my name is Micah, and today I'm going to be playing the folk song Mary Had a Little Lamb.
All right, That was Micah playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Next up, we have Ava and her mom, Allie, playing a duet together.
Hi, I'm Ava, and I'm playing Minuet in G Major by Bach.
All right, that was some beautiful playing from Ava on Minuet in G Major by J.S. Bach. Sorry for the fake news about the duet. That was a lovely solo in front of a Christmas tree. Welcome to Upper Midwest Flute Association's Marathon Flute Concert. If you're just joining us and you have never seen a curved head joint before, they're pretty cool. You can put the curved head joint into a regular straight head student flute, and it makes it fit short flute players whose arms would be reaching out like this to reach a regular flute. One cool thing about the scholarship program is it supports students of all ages and levels. So even someone who's 4 years old could apply for a scholarship if they wanted to and play on a short flute player flute. So Tara has some trivia information about UMFA, or Upper Midwest Flute Association. Let's hear our first trivia question.
Thank you, Bethany. So yes, we are happy to present some UMFA history to our viewers today. As Bethany mentioned, many of you are tuning in to one of our events for the first time today. And so our historian has combed through the archives and compiled a set of trivia questions for this event. So every 15 minutes or so, I'll be popping in with a trivia question, and we encourage you to interact on the YouTube chat. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're tuning in for, and it's great to see already so many people in the chat loving what we're hearing so far. And so before I leave you with our first trivia question, we'll also check in with our donations. So just in the past 15 minutes, we have already received, let me do the math in my head here. I think people are listening to Bethany's suggestion that we double our goal, because it looks like we have raised $152 just in that last segment. So, wow. So that is amazing, and that's a test of my higher order math skills. So just want to give a shout out to some of our viewers who generously donated today. We just heard from Carla, who is watching from Chicago. Carla's watching for her niece, Nora, who will be on later in today's program. We had another viewer watching for Nora, and that was, I think it was Anne. Is that right, Anne? Are you watching? Anne says, people need more music, so we are happy to help. Thank you so much for your generosity. We also heard from Sue. Sue says she donated because she appreciates OOMFA and that our programming has helped her stay motivated to practice. And another donation from Thomas. Thank you to all of our donors who have helped us really exceed our goal for this early on in the broadcast. Again, we're looking to raise $300 by 2 o'clock today, and we're already over halfway there. So let's see if we can surpass our goal. That's really great. Like Bethany said, our first trivia question for those of you watching live on YouTube is, in what year did the Upper Midwest Flute Association begin? So I'll be back in 15 minutes with the answer and an update on our fundraising total. Back to you, Bethany.
All right, to help us survive the suspense while we wait for the answer to that trivia question, let's listen to Emma playing Gavotte by Francois-Joseph Gossec. I love the energy.
Hi, my name is Emma Steen. I am a student at the University of St. Thomas, and I'm going to be playing Gavotte by Gossec.
All right, that was our lovely Emma playing Gossec Gavotte. This is the Marathon Flute Concert through Upper Midwest Flute Association, fundraising for our scholarship program. So there are 3 scholarship application periods each year. There's a scholarship to help out with springtime and summertime and fall. And I suppose winter is just split between those because that's like most of the year in Minnesota. So by the way, the most I can't speak right now. The upcoming deadline has been extended to December 15th. So if any students are interested in applying right now, that is the soonest deadline. We also have 2 partner organizations that help support both scholarship students of OOMFA and any other student as well. The Hopewell Music Cooperative North is based in North Minneapolis, and they do some amazing work providing equitable music instruction to that community. They really focus on making the opportunities reachable for everyone. So students who get free or reduced lunch at school get free or reduced music lessons. And they also have instruments and lots of great programming. There's also an organization called the Music Link Foundation. That one is nationwide, and they also help to provide instruments as well as some funding to support students. The funding can cover both supplies for music and also summer music camps or master classes. So those are both a couple of partner organizations that have missions in line with ours. If you have an old instrument sitting in your closet that is not getting any love, you should consider donating it to one of those organizations. It's a tax-deductible donation, and it will help to provide joy to a student who will be able to play that instrument. Speaking of tax deductible, UMFA is also a nonprofit. So if you make a contribution to the scholarship program, that's tax deductible, and you will help change a student's life. Next up, we have an interview. Oh, wait, I'm out of order. We have Natalie, don't we? Next up, we have the lovely Natalie performing hot cross buns and cold round cakes, which is upside down hot cross buns.
My name is Natalie, and I'm going to play hot cross buns and cold round cakes. Now I'm going to play cold round cakes.
All right, that was Natalie performing hot cross buns and cold round cakes, and she was playing on a toot flute. It's a pretty cool little instrument. It's made out of plastic and it has silicone keys, and it has a little interchangeable mouthpiece. So if you're starting a very, very short flute player and you want to work on rice spitting to help make a sound on a traditional head joint, but also be able to move forward on learning some songs as they build coordination, there's this little recorder shaped mouthpiece. And then you can also snap that out and put in a more traditionally shaped mouthpiece. And that way you can help build some musical skills as you continue building the coordination for a student to play on a big person silver flute. All right, next up we have a special guest who is a longtime charter member of UMFA and also is a past president. I hear there's a funny story about that, so I'm looking forward to hear it. Let's welcome Betty Olson to the screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. Then I'm okay. Good to see you again. It's been years.
Good to see you too. It has been a while. Do you have a way to turn your camera on? If not, no big deal. But it would be lovely to see your face.
Oh, I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just don't see where it is. Perhaps one of your techies will tell me.
There should be a little icon that says start video with a picture of a video camera.
Oh, there is a little video camera, but I'll click that, and if it doesn't work,
then we will not worry about it.
I'm 17 and nubile.
You know, all of us have had to learn a lot about new technologies with the pandemic and teaching online. It has asked for flexibility from everyone.
So oh, no kidding.
We can just not worry about the video, but we can all imagine your lovely face and your lovely smile. Thank you for joining us today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your history with UMFA.
About myself?
Yes.
My name's Betty Olson, and I have been a flute teacher for 43 years. I am a neighborhood flute teacher in Bloomington, or I was until COVID hit, and I have loved every minute of it, and there's hardly been a student who hasn't just thrilled me. So I've been very lucky to do that. I'm a mother of 4, grandmother of 4, and I'm retired now.
Lovely. Tell us more about your history with UMFA. I would love to hear the story about how you became president.
I was kind of accidental president. One day I got a call from the lady I was studying with, Susan DeYoung, and you know her. She's about, 4 feet tall and a powerhouse. You don't argue with this woman. And she called me up and said, "Oh, come and join us for our UNFA meeting." And I knew what UNFA was. I'd been to a lot of the things. And I said, "Oh, sure, yes." So I went to her house and they were all sitting around like they were preparing for a delicious meal or something and looking hungrily. I was told that I should be president. And I didn't know how or why or anything. But the thing that was impressive is all the people, there was a lady who was quitting because she had developed a really nasty illness. So they sold their house and got into a boat and traveled the world. And she was supposed to be president. So they were just looking for someone to fill in. And they all said they would help because I wouldn't know what I was doing at that point. And they did. Everybody joined in and they took over parts of everything and helped me through the things I didn't know about. So I stayed for 5 years as president. It was a wonderful group, amazing people.
That's so neat. Yeah, I love the way that UMFA brings flute players together. There's so much great programming. I'm excited that they're still finding a way to make Flute Fest happen online this spring. That'll be really fun. So I'd love to hear about how you got started on the flute.
Well, I was a poor kid in Edina. And that sounds like an anomaly, but I was. And but we had the most amazing music program, 2 band directors for the grade school. And they started you out in the 3rd grade with a little test to see if you could handle music. You know, I think almost everyone passed just to make them feel like they would be, you know, good at it and everything. And we had sectionals in the 4th grade, and then we went to full band in the 5th grade, and it was a wonderful program. And all the way through it had exceptional music. So that was a good thing.
That's really neat. Yeah, I think one of the coolest parts about this program is the way that for any poor kid in Edina or wherever, just finding your instrument can mean finding your people and finding confidence and finding so many different life skills besides just the inherent value of music. So that's pretty special.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the coolest flute event that you've ever attended?
The what?
The coolest flute event that you've ever attended?
Oh gosh, you know, when we were having the flute fests in Normandale and then in the churches surrounding that, everything was just a minor miracle because we got the most exceptional talent and we had good venues with good acoustics and fun things happening. It was also accessible and really pretty inexpensive for the people attending. Otherwise, everything I've attended has just thrilled me. I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
I like the national conventions, but I think that you do just as well with the ones that you put on.
Yeah, there's something
They
special
just
in each
so
one of those
impressed.
things. Yeah. Have you found good inspiration for that in your teaching or in your performing and part of being a flute community that puts on events like that?
It fills in little places so that you have things to talk to the kids about that inspire them. So yes, it's a great thing. And knowing the people, you know, connecting with people. I've made some good friends that are lifelong friends. So yes.
Me too. I'm glad. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for your lifelong support of this program. It's just really special to have people like you involved who bring their students into the fold, who help to create wonderful programming, who help build this community as a place that supports everyone who wants to be a part of it. We're really grateful for that.
And the
So,
same
thanks.
to all of you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Betty. This is Tara Mead. I'm the Vice President of the Upper Midwest Flute Association. It's really great to hear about the history of our organization, and we hope you will enjoy the rest of our broadcast.
Thank you.
All right. I hear that it may be time for a trivia answer.
Yes, you're right. It's time for a trivia update. So the YouTube chat has been very busy with folks around Minnesota and the Midwest and who knows where chiming in. We actually did have a correct response from the YouTube from Andrew. And so I actually know Andrew. He is my cousin's husband. He is not a flutist, but he knows how to use Google. So, folks, we have no rules. Anything goes on the trivia. So, yes, this is UMFA's 41st year. And we really appreciate, again, all the positive comments that you all are sharing, making us feel connected on that YouTube feed. Let me check in with the donations here and refresh the page. While I'm getting the totals added up here, I want to let you know that we do have a competition going on today. When you make a donation to the scholarship fund, if you are able, you have the option of donating on behalf of one of today's performers. And we have two prizes. The first prize is from our corporate sponsor, Growth Music. They have donated a $50 gift card to their store, and that will go to the performer who raises the most money on their behalf between now and the end of today's broadcast. Now, I haven't run this past the board, but I believe I may be in the lead right now. So let me check in with our donations. We have received, it looks like, $75 in the last 15 minutes. And I want to give a shout out to my Aunt Sandy watching from Texas. Sandy comes from the non-musical side of my family. So it's great to have even non-musicians watching and supporting our program today. Also want to shout out my aunt and uncle, Neil and Kathy, who made a donation from Iowa, and their daughter Janine made a donation as well. So we'll see if anybody can top my total of $75 raised so far from my family members. But I want to let you know a little bit about Growth Music, our sponsor. They are located in Bloomington, Minnesota. They are Minnesota's original music superstore, serving music educators, students, and performers since 1939. So we are very close already to our original goal for 2 o'clock, which was to raise $300 by 2 o'clock. We just have $73 to go. So even with a small donation, you can help us reach our goal today. I'll be back in 15 minutes to update you with our total, but I'm going to leave you with trivia question number 2, which is, who was the first president of UMFA? Back to you, Bethany.
All right. And I say again, let's double our goal. Let's bring those donations and support students. This is a tough year. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are suddenly trying to homeschool their kids while also maintaining a job. And this is a year where it's really hard for a lot of families to afford private lessons. But it is such a life-changing, wonderful thing. Learning a musical instrument is inherently valuable in itself because music is wonderful and special. But it's also a great way to learn lots of life skills. Most music teachers really focus on a growth mindset where the phrase, "I can't," is illegal, unless it's followed by a "yet" and the exploration of how to make it easier. That sense of building confidence, of building fearlessness about making mistakes, teaching that mistakes are just a way to learn, those life skills travel wherever the person goes for the rest of their life, no matter what they do in their career. The confidence and the skills that you build in musical training help make everyone stronger. So help change a life today. Any bit of donation makes a difference. It's tax deductible, and you will help make someone's flute life very much more exciting, and it will help build them as a human being. So next up, we have Anna performing the first movement of Sonatina by Bernard Haydn.
Hi, my name is Anna Czech. I am a flute student at the University of St. Thomas, and I will be playing the first movement of Sonatina by Bernard Haydn. you.
All right, that was Anna playing the first movement of Sonatina by Bernard Haydn. And if you're just joining us, welcome to UMFA's 6th annual Marathon Flute Concert. This is a fundraiser event for UMFA's Flute Student Scholarship Program. It covers the costs of private lessons, master classes, summer music camps, or instrument rentals for students who are dedicated to their studies and demonstrate financial need. Students of all ages and levels can apply. So it could be a very beginner, a young student, or a college student, or even an amateur flute player who is retired and playing for fun to make their life richer. A lot of students have really benefited from this program over the years since it's begun. Since it first started, we have awarded over $10,000 in scholarships. We have assisted over 20 different students with that scholarship money, and several of them have even gone on to major in music in college. And even the ones who didn't end up doing that have all grown in their confidence, their self-discipline, their creative problem-solving skills, and in being part of a supportive peer community of musicians. So thank you to everyone who's helped to support this program so far, through your time, through your energy, through financial contributions, and through spreading the word. This year is kind of special because even though we're not able to come together in person, we're able to share this through a much larger area than it would usually. And we can have people watching from all different states. It's pretty amazing. In fact, we definitely have some out-of-state watchers for this next student, Nora, and she is performing Minuet in G Major by J.S. Bach.
My name is Nora Jackson, and I'm going to be playing Minuet in G Major by J.S. Bach.
All right, thank you so much for your music, Nora. Next up, we have Elin playing a different Minuet in G Major, also by J.S. Bach. Classic and great.
Hello, my name is Elin Angels. I'm going to be playing the song Minuet in G Major by J.S. Bach, but I'm going to be skipping the repeats. Okay.
right, thank you so much, Elin. So next up, we will soon be able to listen to Calvin. But before that, really quickly, I want to tell you a little bit more about Upper Midwest Flute Association. This organization is really special because it provides events for flute players of all ages and levels throughout the Upper Midwest. Each year there's a Flute Fest. Usually it's in person. This year it's happening online over 3 days from February 19th through 21st. And there will be a guest artist, Christina Jennings. She'll have a recital and teach master classes. There will be interactive workshops. There will be a flute choir virtual play-along, social hour meetups for college students, teachers, and adult amateurs, a non-competitive solo and ensemble fest for students called Rising Stars, competitions such as the Loudy Porter competition for junior high and high school students, and the Young Artist competition for flutists from ages 18 to 21 from anywhere in the country. So it's a pretty awesome setup of a lineup of events. So check out our website, umfaflutes.org, UMFA, as in Upper Midwest Flute Association. Oh, you can see it. Never mind, it's not on Tara's background, but this is how you spell it. And you can see all of the great programming. Besides Flute Fest, there's usually an honors flute choir for students and this marathon flute concert, and sometimes parlor concerts that happen in people's homes. That's on hold this year, but it's usually a really fun and special thing that happens. All right, next up, we will enjoy music by Calvin York, who is playing Sicilian by Gabriel Fauré.
Hi, I'm Calvin, and I'm playing Sicilian by Fauré.
some lovely playing from Calvin. He played the Sicilian by Gabriel Fauré. And now we have special guest, Cindy Farrell. Thank you so much for joining us. So Cindy is a private flute instructor, and she is the manager of Flute Cocktail of Minnesota, and also is a lifetime member of OOMFA. Thank you so much for joining us today, Cindy.
Thanks for asking me, Stephanie.
Glad to have you. Can you tell viewers a little bit about yourself and your history with OOMFA?
Well, I moved here from Arkansas about 20 years ago, 2000, and there in Arkansas I was in a community band, a flute choir at the university. I was teaching, and I had a performing career. Well, for Little Rock, that was a big deal, but I moved up here and needed to get in contact with flute community so that I could once again join a band, maybe a flute choir, start performing again, and find some place to teach. So I actually found out about OOMFA through two things that happened kind of close together. I saw an advertisement, I do not remember which paper, for an OOMFA board meeting, and when it said it was the Upper Midwest Flute Association, I mean, from Arkansas, I didn't have any thing to attach that with, but when I found out what it was, I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So I just decided to go and join their little board meeting, surprise, and got interested in volunteering through that. And then I also had seen an advertisement for a flute performance with, it was the Lake Minnetonka Flute Choir and the Honors Flute Choir, so it was a dual concert, and Paige Dashner-Long was there when she used to live here in Minneapolis, and she had her double contra flute, which I'd never even seen a contra flute, much less a double contra flute. And there she was conducting with this huge monstrous flute, conducting with her shoulders like this while she played. It was pretty interesting. So I just started volunteering. You know, I needed to network. I'm a big believer in networking. Things are more fun when you have more than one. So just joined up that way.
Cool. Yeah, you know, I had a similar story. I moved here after grad school and knew almost nobody, and OOMFA was a great way for me to meet people too. I actually remember meeting you at the very first Flute Fest that I went to, and you played with Flute Cocktail, and it is such a cool group. You guys do great programming. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about Flute Cocktail?
Well, Flute Cocktail started, gosh, I'm thinking, actually it's been so long, probably 2006, but before that it was just a group of my adult flute students who were not quite skilled enough to join a community band or anything, and you know, most of us find it more rewarding to play with other people, or a lot of us do. And so we just started gathering together, and we'd have parties and we would just have fun. Out of that grew a little bit more serious people who just really wanted to play together. So our group just started growing. We have 20 members now. And our particular group kind of prides itself on being what they call a show choir, I guess you'd call it. So we do a lot of fun things. We really believe that music belongs to everybody, and that even if you aren't a flute player, you can participate in our concerts. So we just have it fun with it. We like to have people sing with us, or do, you know, body percussion with us, or we'll pass out instruments and let them play shakers along with us, or bird whistles, or kazoos, or triangles, or, you know, whatever percussion the song calls for. And so we just like to involve our audiences. We just have a lot of fun together. We do goofy things. We've played barbershop quartet pieces and worn mustaches. I mean, you know, flute can be very serious, and it can be a very sophisticated art, but it can also be fun, and that's sort of where our group goes with it.
I love that. I think that you guys are very sophisticated in how fun you make your performances. I've loved getting to watch you guys play. I think too, it really compellingly makes that point about how music stays with us through our entire lives. It is not just a skill that you learn one time and then move on and forget about. Like, you know, some of us have forgotten our high school pre-cal or algebra or certain skills that we don't use anymore. But I mean, I remember I've played for people who have really bad dementia and will repeat something every 2 minutes. But the moment that you start playing, they get up and dance. It's just so powerful the way that music touches us. I think that's one thing that's so special about this scholarship program. It helps give that opportunity for music education to anyone who is interested. So I would love to hear a little bit more about, you know, you talked about being together and having a wonderful time with that and the way that music can be a way of gathering. These days are pretty tough with that when it's hard to actually be physically together in the same space. Do you have any advice for flutists who are feeling really unmotivated to pick up their flute after a tough day?
Well, actually, I do, because as a teacher, I've faced that a lot with students who, I mean, I teach mainly young people now, up through high school, although I do have an adult student. But it's very, very common for students to come in hanging their heads low because they said, "I'm sorry, I just didn't get a chance to practice this week. I'm sorry," and they feel bad, because honestly, school is for kids like work is for adults. And when we get home, we're mentally exhausted and we need to just shut down and put our feet up and, watch something mindless, do something mindless. Sometimes it's hard to motivate yourself to sit down and give the focus and attention that's required to study an instrument. There's all kinds of physical things you have to do for the flute. There's reading the music, there's the notes, there's the key signatures, there's all these different aspects, which is why music is so good for your brain. But all of those things are also taxing at the end of a long day. So what I tell students is, if you really just can't bring yourself to sit down because you're going to have to do your exercises and run your scales and do your harmonics and your long tones, and you just don't want to do that, pull out some old material. Pull out things that you have mastered in the past, that you learned how to play, that you loved playing, because you are successful with that, and you don't really have to put a lot of mental energy into it, but you're still practicing your instrument. You're still getting something out of it. And you'll go, hey, I play that better than I did 2 years ago when I learned it. So playing old music is one thing, because you don't really have to put a lot of mind power into that. Something I like to do when I'm not particularly motivated to learn something new is I will pull out, I love to play with books that have accompaniment CDs. I have Disney, Beatles, Dixieland, jazz, all kinds of books. There's just tons of books out there that have accompaniment CDs or MP3 links or whatever, and there's nobody judging you. There's nobody, grading you. So just sit down and play through a book of music that you enjoy, and that's fun. And if you make some mistakes, so what? Move on to the next one or replay it if you'd like. It's just so fun to play with accompaniment, and I get a lot of joy out of that. And I think that, I'd advise my students to buy some books like that and try it out. And then I guess finally, sometimes if I don't really feel like even practicing or even getting my flute out, I like to get on YouTube and I can just type in flute, anything, maybe a song that I like, and then on the little side panels, you're going to get tons of little links, and then you can just branch off, and I can just spend hours, and sometimes do, looking at flute things, listening to other players, because, especially in Suzuki, but in all teachers will tell their students that you need to listen to other flute players, and that's one way to improve in your instrument. So I really love it when I get to watch and listen to other people play. They might play a song in a different way, at a different tempo, with a different kind of accompaniment, or they might be experimenting in a way that I'd never thought about. I particularly love people who kind of do different things with the flute. Greg Patillo, for instance, love watching. He is my flute idol. People like him and Rhonda Larson, who they just kind of go off on their own thing, and they do different things. And I love seeing all the different things that our instrument that we have chosen can do. It's more than just, we can play beautiful classical music. We can do beautiful Baroque with a wood flute. We can experiment with electronics. There's just so much the flute can do. You can beatbox with it. You can sound like all kinds of different instruments. So watching it is sometimes just as rewarding to me as actually playing it, because it opens my mind to possibilities. and gets me excited, you know. So like maybe I think I want to try that. I want to order that book. I want to get a CD by that person. And so all of it is part of music education and music improvement.
Yeah, I love that. You know, this week I actually shared both Ian Clark's Zoom Tube and Greg Patello's Project Trio interpretation of Peter and the Wolf with different groups of students in my group classes. I agree. I think it's pretty cool to hear.
I love their reaction.
Yeah, me too. I love watching their faces as they hear it for the first time. It's pretty amazing. Well, thank you so much. I think those are all great pieces of advice. I also enjoy playing old, easy pieces and finding, you know, there's a lot of depth. I remember I did a lot of my Suzuki training with David Gary, and he always said, Mary Had a Little Lamb is Mozart. Yeah, and he just, it was true. The way that Mary Had a Little Lamb becomes this really compelling, deep, beautiful piece of music, and it matters. I think it's pretty cool getting to see how students grow through that process of everything from hot cross buns to learning how to beatbox. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for also being a part of supporting this program. I've loved how your group has always come and performed at the in-person marathon concerts. It's so fun. I hope that we'll be able to go back to that next year. Got a year. Come on back soon.
You know, I just think that music can be a part of your life all your life, and there's just so many. That's why this scholarship fund is good, because it does allow students to start at whatever age. It also serves an older population. It's not always just young students. It's older people that benefit from it too, and just allows you to continue your education and make music a part of your life. So it's very worthy cause.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Cindy and Bethany. Great to see you. So we've made it to 2:00, and I'm happy to announce that we have surpassed our fundraising goal to raise $300 in our first hour of programming. We just received a donation of $50 from Mary, and I want to let viewers know that the way our scholarship fund works, there's a maximum award amount per cycle of $200. So if you do the math, a donation of $50 can support a student in their scholarship studies for 1 month. Now, if you were here last time you heard from me, we had a trivia question, and the first president of UMFA was Lottie Porter. And I want to remind students in grades 7 through 12 from the Upper Midwest that the Lottie Porter Memorial Competition will be held as part of Flute Fest in 2021. And you may visit our website, umfaflutes.org, to learn how to submit your video entry by January 17th to take part in this competition. So again, looking at our goal to raise $2,020 for this year's scholarship fund, we are looking at $318 to raise in the next hour to meet our goal. And it would be great if we could surpass that. With $2,020, we can fund scholarship requests for 10 students. So the more we can exceed that goal, the more students that we can help who have financial need looking to further their flute study. So I think it's time for me to read the next trivia question, and then we'll take it back to Bethany for our next performers. So Minneapolis has been the host of the National Flute Association Convention twice. In which 2 years did that take place? Let us know in the chat if you remember those conventions, and I'll give it back to you, Bethany, for our next performance.
All right, if you're just joining us, welcome to the 6th annual Marathon Flute Concert. We are fundraising for our scholarship program, which helps to cover the cost of private lessons, master classes, summer music camps, or instrument rentals for students who demonstrate dedication to their studies and financial need. And students of all levels and ages are eligible to apply in any state bordering Minnesota or Minnesota itself. And next up, we have Carolina playing Fireflies by, actually, it's a Japanese folk tune. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Carolina, and I will be playing the Suzuki piece, Fireflies. Thank you.
That was some lovely playing from Carolina. Next up, we have Lisa playing a really cool piece. Well, it's a movement from a piece by local composer David Evan Thomas. The whole piece is called On Lines from the Japanese, and the movement itself is On the Autumn Mountain.
Hello, I'm Lisa Kingsley. I would like to play a song entitled Lines from the Japanese. In 2013, local composer David Evan Thomas wrote this work with taking inspiration from Japanese poetry. It's composed of 5 movements, and I will be playing the first movement, On the Autumn Mountain.
All right, thank you, Lisa, for that lovely performance. If you just joined us, welcome to UMPA's 6th annual Marathon Flute Concert. We are fundraising for our scholarship program, which helps to support flute students of all ages and levels. I have a testimonial from a student who received a scholarship in the past. They said, "We are so thankful for the generosity of donors for the flute scholarship. In a time when we are trimming our grocery budget, what a gift to have caring individuals contributing to the finer things of life that help make our lives beautiful. Many thanks." So please help to make a difference in the lives of flute students this year. We are getting close to reaching our goal of raising $2020. We would love to surpass it. The more donations we get, the more students that we can help support. And it just makes such a huge difference in the lives of students. Also, you should feel free to share information about our partner organizations, the Hopewell Music Cooperative North, based in North Minneapolis, and the Music Link Foundation, which is a national organization. Both of those help to support students as well. They take instrument donations so that they can take old, lonely instruments from somebody's closet and give them into loving hands and change a life. You can read more about those organizations on our website, and you can also read about our scholarship program and donate. All right, the next piece that we have is Claire, and she will be performing Oh Holy Night.
Hi, my name is Claire Ricard. I'm a freshman at the University of St. Thomas, and I'm going to be performing my favorite holiday song, Oh Holy Night.
Thank you, Claire, for sharing that with us. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, what a nice way to spread joy to all of our viewers and to end this first segment. Bethany, thank you so much for being our host. It's great to have you sharing your experience with the scholarship program and really sharing with our viewers how meaningful of an impact they can have on students around our area.
Thanks. I love getting to be a part of this each year. I think it's incredible getting to hear those stories from students who've received the scholarships, whether it's directly or indirectly. I've had one in particular who she never would have been able to either take the lessons or go to a summer music camp. And her mom talked about after she went to Lake Sylvia Suzuki Flute Institute, just how incredible that experience was for her and how it just changed her confidence. It helped her connect with other students. She grew so much in her playing that week. and just music was a really powerful thing in her life, and she would not have been able to access that without this program. So I'm grateful for our community coming together to support these students and remove that barrier of finances from that keeps a lot of students from being able to receive a good music education. Clearly running out of words, it's time to hand it over to Chuck Linderkamp. Except first, you have some more trivia information for us, right?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bethany. So it seems like your message has really resonated with our viewers. We did receive $60 in donations during our last segment from Jane and from Carlton. I also wanted to mention that Mary was watching on behalf of her granddaughter, Emma Steen. And so thank you for watching as well, Mary. So I am pleased to welcome our next guest host for the second portion of our program, who is Chuck Linderkamp. Chuck is a freelance musician based in the Twin Cities and has been on the OOMFA board as Flute Choir Showcase Coordinator, and Chuck enjoys playing traditional Western flutes of all sizes, as well as Native American flutes, tin whistles, recorders, and more. Welcome, Chuck.
Thanks, Tara, and thanks to Bethany for doing such a great job in the first half, and thanks to all our donors and all our listeners and all our supporters. Welcome to the second half of our 6th annual Marathon Flute Concert and Fundraiser. We're going to get started to this second half. I'm going to be talking to Maya Bloom, and let me find my notes here. Thank you. Our next guest today is Maya Bloom. She's a senior flutist and music education student at the University of Minnesota Duluth. Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Maya, we're really happy to have you with us as a representative of the UMD Flute Choir. In a moment, we're going to be listening to your song, your performance of Dawn Carroll. Can you give us some background information about this piece and maybe tell all of us what to listen for?
Yeah, of course. So Dawn Carroll was written by composer Margaret Lowe, and it was a gift for Carol No and the James Madison University Flute Choir in Harrisburg, Virginia. The way that this piece works is that each player enters canonically when the previous player reaches an asterisk, and then there should be like flexibility between the phrases and the rhythms so that nobody overlaps with each other. So it's supposed to be just really flowy and everyone is entering at different times. So the result is having that continuous sound with the players dropping out when they reach the end of each section. And then something really interesting about this piece is that it's available in public domain. Margaret Lowe, she states on her website that she has no desire to make a financial profit from this piece because it's based on a simple chord. And so this simple chord is a common property to all musicians, and she wants everyone to be able to experience such a wonderful piece of music.
Wow, that's very unique and very an interesting aspect of that piece. So let's listen to Dawn Carroll, composed by Margaret Lowe and performed by the University of Minnesota Duluth Flute Choir. Flute student. Wow, that sounded amazing. What a lovely piece and very interesting. I did have a question. How many takes did it take to do that? Did you do it in one try?
Yeah, so what we did is we recorded a video outside of our performance, socially distancing, and then we each had our own separate audio recordings at home. So then Dr. Gudmundson put them all together so that it was able to create that wonderful video.
That was really, really great. Thank you. It obviously takes many years of training to perform at that level. Can you tell us about a music teacher who made a difference in your life?
Yeah, so my high school band director, his name was Frank Pascarella, and he inspired me to become a musician. And he's the reason why I decided to pursue a music education degree. Unfortunately, he passed away this summer from esophageal cancer. And despite that, he was an incredible teacher. He was my mentor and he was a friend. And I'll forever be grateful for all that he taught me in band and marching band. And I will always remember our conversations and just use the knowledge that he has given me as I become a teacher this upcoming year.
Yeah, I think we all can probably go back to someone who really inspired us and supported us and really spoke to us. And I'm sorry about his passing. But you're going to be that next person as you pursue your education, and you're going to be that band director or whatever for that next person. So that's great. What is a creative way you have adapted your music during this COVID pandemic?
It's been a very interesting process, to say the least. At UMD, we were able to rehearse and perform using those social distancing and COVID safety precautions so we could still play our music together. And we didn't have an audience for our concerts. So each ensemble was able to kind of decide, all right, well, am I going to just record a video and then release it to the public? Or are we going to have some sort of live streamed concert? So it was different for each group, but since I'm so in many ensembles, I got to experience a whole lot of them. So not only that, we had opportunities for individual recordings at home where we would make our own videos and our own audio files so that they could be spliced together and make projects kind of like our Don Carroll video that was just shown.
Well, that's great. It's thank goodness for technology, right? That we
yes.
It was a way to bridge this gap, and I have thought about that. If we did not have these, we wouldn't be here today, sharing this concert, and you and I speaking from long distances. But so yeah, so Maya, thank you so much for being here as a representative of the UMD Flute Studio, and good luck with your studies and stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Tara, welcome back.
Thank you. That was a really, really cool performance, and nice to hear how technology has made that possible for us still to play together. So I wanted to update viewers that we just received a $100 donation from Peggy, and thank you so much. That helps students, helps things go a long way with our music. And we can tell with Maya's performance that by the time students get to that college level, just imagine the countless hours of time and instruction it takes, that there are a lot of resources required to get to such a high level of playing. So we really appreciate you, Maya, for joining us today and sharing your experiences.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thanks, Tara, for all you're doing too today. We really appreciate that. She's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes here, but doing a great job on camera too. So thank you.
And I'm doing a lot of math, and again, grateful for technology to help me calculate these totals and keep track of our donations. So it looks like we are only $158 from our goal of raising $2,020 today for the UMFA Scholarship Fund.
That is fantastic. So thank you so much to our donors. And but that doesn't mean that we couldn't have more.
Exactly.
As Bethany was saying in the first half, why not double this? And we were going for 2020. Why not double that? But but any donation makes a difference, and it doesn't have to be at a certain level or anything. We really appreciate any donations that come in, and there is also an opportunity to donate instruments, and you can find out all this information and a lot more things at umfaflutes.org, and that should be scrolling on your screen there. I think I have it on my t-shirt too, but you can't see it behind my big microphone.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the t-shirt, because one of our other prizes today for the performer who receives the most individual donations on their behalf can win an Oomfa t-shirt. They're super soft, and also one of our tote bags that you can carry your music around in. And so that brings me to our next trivia question. This is a piece of music that some of our viewers may own, or by this composer. So famous for his beatbox style, which flutist and composer was the guest artist for Flute Fest in 2009? So if you're just joining us, we'll have trivia questions throughout the broadcast. And as Chuck mentioned, I'm juggling a lot of things, so I think I'll pop the answer in the chat in about 15 minutes. So if you know the name of the beatbox flutist, and hint, if you were here about half an hour ago when Cindy was being interviewed, she might have name dropped this flutist. So as we've seen, there are so many different styles and genres of music that that our performers are sharing with us today. And so Chuck, let us know what's next.
Okay, thanks, Tara. Our next performance is the St. Paul Conservatory Flute Duo featuring Andrea and Peter, and they'll be performing the first movement of the Allegro con brio from Allegro and Menuet by Ludwig van Beethoven. That was lovely. Thank you, Peter and Andrea from the St. Paul Conservatory Flute Duo. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out to our couple of people who've been doing the technical work for this program. Todd Anderson and Cassian Lee, thank you so much for putting this all together. Without you guys running this, it would not work. So thank you very much. And now, right away, I have my next guest, and let's welcome Heidi Lambrecht. Heidi is a flutist and music education student at Minnesota State University in Mankato. Heidi, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with the Upper Midwest Flute Association?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Heidi Lambrecht. I am originally from Farmington, Minnesota, and I am a music education student at Minnesota State University Mankato. I'm in my 5th and final year, getting ready for student teaching, and I've been playing flute since I was 10 years old. This is my 2nd year being involved with UMFA, and I'm very excited to be able to share this fantastic organization with my future students.
That's great. Would you like to share some info about the piece that you're going to be performing, that the group is performing, and anything that we should be listening for?
Yeah, so today I will be performing the Flute Set for Solo Flute by Adolphus Hailstork. I actually had performed this piece on my recital back in October this year. And so Hailstork is a predominant African-American composer and educator. And he has written extensively for symphony, choral, chamber, and solo settings. Each of the 4 movements provides a space to focus on a designated skill while emoting through expressive writing. The first movement begins with an intriguing statement leading the listener to the next motif and hinting to the second movement. The second movement is very lively with octave plus jumps to give movement. The third movement reminds me of a sad love song and remembering what could have been. And the fourth and final movement is dance-like and to me signifies lighthearted times.
Great, Heidi. Looking forward to hearing it. Thank you, Heidi. What an amazing performance of the flute set by Adolphus Hailstork. Just amazing facility and beautiful music. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about? We've asked this before, but a music teacher who had an effect or a profound effect on your life.
Yeah. So all of the music teachers that I've had, they've all inspired me to become a music educator. And one that I'd like to share a little bit about today is Dr. Amy Royson Foley. She is the director of bands at Minnesota State University Mankato. I am profoundly grateful to know her and for everything that she has taught me. And the passion that she brings to everything she does is something that I inspire to have when I am teaching.
That's great. And I think I'm going to ask you this question. I like this one. Do you have some advice for any of us flutists who are sometimes feeling, especially these days, everything being different than it maybe should be, feeling unmotivated or just having a hard time stepping up and picking up our flutes? Any advice or any thoughts?
Yeah, so when I have tough days, instead of continuing to hammer out tricky sections or pieces that I don't really have underneath my fingers yet, I pull out a lot of the music that I have learned or performed before. This brings back a lot of joyful memories and confidence that a tough day doesn't really define who you are. And it also reminds me to have fun when I'm practicing.
I think that's great advice. We've heard that, and it's just revisiting those things that make you smile when you're done playing them. That's just great. And so I think we're gonna be welcoming back Tara here in a moment.
Hi. Wow.
Hi.
I really enjoyed that performance. I actually have had that sheet music on my music stand for several months, and I've enjoyed working on it, but definitely don't have it to the performance level that you demonstrated. That was really excellent. And Steve in our YouTube chat mentioned that sounded challenging. So really, really great execution. And we appreciate you for joining us today, Heidi.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Heidi. And stay safe.
Thanks, you too.
So,
All
Tara, I heard that maybe through the grapevine that you have a big announcement to share with all of us.
Yeah, Chuck. So with still time remaining in today's event, I'm really pleased to report that we have met and surpassed our goal of raising $2,020 for our scholarship fund. And so our current total is $2,144. And in between the updates that I give, I think we'll check in a few more times before the end of today's broadcast. You can also visit our homepage, oompaflutes.org, and there is a real-time tracker of how much we've raised. And I have wanted to give a shout out to a few of our recent donors. We got a donation from Melinda and Steve, and a special donation from Anne, and Anne had something to say to you, Chuck, which was a message from your niece and nephew, Allie and Harrison, in thanks for you who inspire and support them in their music education. So it's really cool to see how many viewers that we've reached today.
Well, thank you, and thanks to all our donors. But Anne, thank you, and Allie and Harrison are two special people in my life, and it's sharing music is I think all of us as musicians, that's kind of the core of what it is. It's a communication. It's a giving, and it's a giving and a receiving and everything. So, yeah, I'm a little choked up by that. So thank you. But thanks to all our donors, and please don't stop giving. We've reached one goal. We might as well just keep going and reach some other unspoken goal. And once again, these funds are going to a really good cause. They're going towards scholarships. In fact, if you go on the website, I think you could get some more information. There is a deadline coming up but there are some scholarships left for this year, and then scholarships throughout the year for students of all ages and all abilities that can apply for those. And so thank you for those donations that can help with that. We've also asked before, and we can say it again, we are taking donations of instruments. That would, if you've got an instrument in a closet that needs to get in someone's hands and would help a student, that's something that we can look at too. So thank you, Tara, for keeping track and doing your math and all that. And thanks again to the donors. Let's see. I think we're going on to our next piece, and we have Tiffany, and Tiffany will be performing the second movement, the Allegro movement from the Flute Sonata number 2 in E minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. So take it away, Tiffany. And now, as you notice, I'm in a slightly different position. Welcome to my basement studio. I want to talk about right now one of the interesting benefits. We haven't talked a lot about this, but becoming a member of the Upper Midwest Flute Association, we encourage anyone out there can join. You don't have to be a flutist. Obviously, this is an association of many flutists playing all sorts of styles and types of instruments, but we encourage anyone to be a member. But one of the things that UMFA does have is a collection of low flutes that are available to be rented by members of the Upper Midwest Flute Association. And right in front of me, in front of you, is our biggest instrument. This is a contrabass flute, and this is an instrument that is twice as big as what the concert C flute, the typical flutes that you've been seeing here in this performance. And I've got it today, so I'm going to do a little bit of playing on it. Cross your fingers that I can get enough air to do this. So. I love playing this flute. So once again, this is a contrabass flute. One of the many members of the flute family. Typically, we see C flutes and piccolos. There's also the alto flute, the bass flute, contrabass flute, and as was mentioned earlier by Cindy, I think there's a sub-contrabass flute, a double contrabass flute, and a hyperbass flute. And beyond that, I have no idea. But they're really fun to play. They're fun to look at, and they're very interesting. And you too could rent this if you're a member of Upper Midwest Flute Association. So next, we have a really interesting kind of a one-of-a-kind interview. And I'm just going to let it explain itself coming up. And thank you. Hi, and welcome back to the Marathon live stream fundraising concert. I'm your host, Chuck Linderkamp. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our next performer, Chuck Linderkamp. Thanks. It's my pleasure to be here. Before we watch you play, would you like to guide us through your performance? Any special things to watch out for? Why, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Yes, I do have a few notes. So today I'll be sharing 3 different songs with you. The first is called Autumn Dawn, which is a simple solo piece for Native American flute, and I thought would be a good one to start with. The second piece, I used an app called Acapella, which allowed me to do performances, merge a performance together on sub-bass E Native American flute, a bass E Native American flute, and a frame or buffalo drum, Native American drum. And to watch out for in this song is note the different sections and the different styles that the sub-bass flute carries. And the second flute really is in an improvisatory style on top. And of course the drum provides the heartbeat of the song, which is kind of a traditional thing in Native American music. The third piece is actually an ancient French carol, and I'm playing this on a triple Native American flute in G minor, which I had custom made for me. And to watch out for is notice the different uses of the drones, and then the single 2 of the flute. Great ancient melody, and one I was happy to share for this season. Well, okay, thanks for those insights. And without any further ado, here's Chuck Linderkamp. Hello, my name's Chuck Linderkamp, and I'm going to be playing some Native American flute songs for you today on various Native American flutes, plus some other guest instruments and players. This first song is called Autumn Morning, and it's an original composition by myself, and I hope you enjoy it. This song is called Petroglyphs. For my final selection, I'd like to play "'Twas in the Moon of Wintertime," and this is a 16th century French Christmas carol. And I want to wish you and your family and everyone else happy holidays. was lovely. Thank you, Chuck Linderkamp, for those offerings. Thank you. I'm so happy to be able to share in this performance with everybody. I was curious, how long have you been performing on Native American flutes? Well, I believe my first Native American flute was a gift from my parents years ago. They live in Arizona. I kind of fiddled around with that instrument, but not anything serious. But about 8 years ago, I had a chance to attend a Native American flute conference in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And by meeting the flute makers there and the performers and that community really sparked my interest in really, working on this instrument and becoming more serious on the Native American flute. And do you make these flutes? No. I much admire the handiwork and all the work that goes into making these instruments. I don't make them myself. I have flutes from makers from all over the U.S. though, and they each have their own unique voice. And I think, if I'm right, this is your 6th marathon flute concert? Yes, I have. I've participated in the Marathon Flute Concert since its inception as a volunteer and a performer. I believe we started up in 2015. And how long have you been a member of the Upper Midwest Flute Association? Well, I first joined the Upper Midwest Flute Association when I was a student of Ruth Giles down at Gustavus Adolphus College in St. Peter back in the early 80s. And I believe the membership fee for students was $5 a year, which even a broke college student like me could afford. So after college, I let my membership lapse, and until about 7 years ago or so, I rejoined the UMFA, and I've really enjoyed all the benefits of being a member, like the newsletters and attending the Flute Fest, being part of the Marathon Flute Concert, the Flute Choir Showcase, the low flute rental program I've taken advantage of several times. And a few years ago, I actually increased my involvement by becoming the Flute Choir Showcase Coordinator. And I really enjoyed through UMFA the chance to meet this great community of amazing performers, amazing educators, and just all around really great, good people. Well, Chuck, thank you for your music and thank you for your membership. Please remember, all of you out there, to visit our website, www.umfaflutes.org, to find out more about our organization, see the schedule for future events, and especially to donate towards our student fundraiser. Thanks. Well, that was strange. No, it was actually kind of fun, and thank you to me, I guess. But it's always been fun for me. I think one of the big things I love about this organization is just to meet all the different people, the performers and the teachers and educators, and we appreciate this community, and it's a great group of people, and the leadership of the UMFA for helping organize these events. And I did want to make sure I mentioned that even though we are doing a fundraiser right now, this isn't the only time we would accept donations. You could go onto the website at any time, make donations. Things will go towards scholarships. We've talked about instrument donations. So we appreciate having this special day for that. But remember, keep us in your thoughts when it comes time to make a donation. And speaking of donations, Tara's back, and I hope she has some more good news for us.
Yeah, I do, Chuck. And thanks so much for sharing your performances. I think
Thank you.
that was a great, if not wacky, example of how technology is really helping us to make things possible during this time. And our donations are just another testament to the way that technology can bring us together. We're hearing from viewers from all over who may not typically be able to attend our performances, but we just had a donation from Joan, who is Heidi's grandmother, one of our previous performers. We also want to thank, let's make sure I got everybody. Kara, Chris, and John. Again, we've surpassed our goal, and it looks like we are now at $2,234. So we've surpassed our goal by over $200. And remember, every $200 that we raise represents another scholarship award to a student in need. And so we're nearing the end of the today's program. I believe we just have one last performance. So I'll take it upon myself to set our final fundraising goal of $2,400. $2,400 represents 12 scholarships that we're able to give to students throughout the year. If I did that math right, you can fact check me in the comments. I also wanted to, harken back to the other benefits of OOMPHA membership besides being involved in our events. And as Chuck mentioned, we have the contrabass rental. So the final trivia question for this afternoon is, do you know the name of our contrabass flute? Do you know, Chuck? Don't give it away.
I do, but I believe I'm ineligible for this particular contest.
And keep in mind, the trivia contest is for ultimate bragging rights. So let us know if you know the name of the contrabass. But Chuck, tell us about what we're going to hear in our next performance.
Well, thanks, Tara. And thanks once again to all the donors. And remember, you can keep donating. That website is up all the time. And so I think this is our final performance for the Marathon Flute Concert of 2020. And this is, we have 10 flutists who will be performing as a virtual flute choir on Judy Nishimura's arrangement of 3 Nutcracker Suite dances by Tchaikovsky. And you'll notice if you look carefully, you can spot 4 OOMPHA board members, Tara Mead and Steve Commander, Minghui Lin, and Janelle Mueller, as well as Sue Nugent, Heidi Lambrecht, and Rebecca Pace, all on C flutes. And then we have Cindy Farrell, Kara Swanson, and myself playing alto flutes. And I just want to say thanks. It was a lot of fun hosting, and we hope that you enjoy the Nutcracker Flute Suite. Well, that was great, and it was really fun to be a part of that. But I am very remiss in not having mentioned before the performance, but I will now. Is our fearless leader was Tara Mead, was our conductor. But not only that, she put the whole thing together, got all the music to us, coordinated all the recordings, and then did the massive job of editing that, and that was done so well. So thank you, Tara, for doing that. It was a blast to be part of that, and it was really a lot of fun to be a part of the Marathon Flute Concert 2020 done virtually, and this I've really grown very fond of being a participant and also an audience member of this concert, just to see all the different things. And I'm really glad we got to do it this year, because this year's is a singular year. So thanks to my co-host Bethany, and thanks to Tara and Bethany. I'll say goodbye, but we'll turn it over to you, and thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Chuck. It was fun to get to hear your stories about it. And I've always loved getting to watch both your performances during the marathon concerts that are in person. And also, I don't know how many of you guys who are watching might know this, but he usually coordinates all of the stage diagrams all day, every day. And he acts, not every day, for 8 hours of concert. That's what I'm trying to say. This program comes together with the help of so many different volunteers, the people who perform, the people who help prepare the logistics for it, the people who donate, the people who spread the word. So thank you all for helping to support this incredible program. This year, we have a couple of amazing folks who are making this happen online. Todd Anderson and Cassian Lee have been irreplaceable in offering their technical expertise to make this happen. So thank you both so much. And I see that we have not had an answer yet to our trivia question. This person also contributed a lot to the flute community. So our contrabass flute, which is sitting behind Chuck, is named Maloney after Nancy Maloney. And she's the one who started Lake Sylvia Suzuki Flute Institute, where I did my teacher training. One thing I love about the Suzuki philosophy that is so relevant to this scholarship program is the concept that every child can. It means that any child who is given the right support and the right resources can excel, growing both as a musician and as a human being. And that goal of providing good quality music education helps children learn not only something that is inherently valuable, the beauty of music, but also self-confidence, discipline, creative problem-solving skills, just so many great personal traits. It's such a huge growing experience to be able to study an instrument. So thank you to all of the people who have donated both their time and their energy, and also made financial contributions towards supporting this program. We'll look forward to hearing an update about where we're at in donations. And just remember, if you missed the boat today, you can donate any time of year. And you can also donate old, unloved, well, maybe formerly loved, but lonely instruments from your closet that are not being played anymore. We have partner organizations that will put those in the hands of students who might not otherwise be able to learn an instrument. So thank you all so much, and I will hand it off to Tara.
Well said, Bethany and Chuck. It's been so great for you to share your stories with our viewers today, and to interview others that have benefited from our program. So I'm happy to share a final donation count for the day. It looks like we are at $2,521.
Yes.
So that's just really cool. And again, that represents funding for over 12 students who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford flute instruction. And that includes a recent donation from my Aunt Lisa in Texas, and also a really significant anonymous donation of $250. And again, I want to reiterate, this is accepted year round. So we really appreciate everyone who tuned in today. I do believe that the YouTube live stream will remain posted. So if you had friends, family members, your greatest fans that didn't get a chance to tune in, they are welcome to watch this broadcast later on and learn more about our program. So with that, any last comments from our panel?
Happy holidays.
And a big thank you.
And thank you.
Excellent. So I just want to end on behalf of the OOMFA Executive Board and all of today's participants. I will extend a special thanks to our corporate sponsor, Growth Music, who donated a gift card for today's top fundraiser. I also want to thank our scholarship director, Sarah Weisbrod, who oversees the scholarship program. Our volunteer coordinator, Kara Swanson, who lined up your excellent hosts today. Our historian, Peggy Dory, who did the research for today's trivia questions. Our marketing and communications director, Janelle Mueller, who publicized the event. Our technology coordinator, Cassian Lee, and our technical director, Todd Anderson, who facilitated the YouTube live stream. And again, our hosts, Bethany and Chuck. I hope you all will spread the word about OOMFA's scholarship program to students who may benefit. And please remember to join us for our next event, Flute Fest, which will be held online February 19th through 21st. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.